stopping by my channel where I bake something in every video, even when I'm out adventuring in the world. This morning I am at Golden Gate Canyon State Park, continuing our camping adventure. We had a lovely evening last night, a pretty good sleep, and now it's time for breakfast. And what could be better on this beautiful morning than some warm, freshly baked cinnamon rolls? So for these cinnamon rolls, I did 90% of the work at home before we came. I think when you're adventure baking, the key is planning and preparation, and I like to work smarter and not harder and really be able to enjoy myself when I'm up here having fun in the mountains. For something like cinnamon rolls, it's actually perfect for a car camping weekend like this. We came with a big old cooler, so it was able to keep the dough chilled all night. And I wanted to make sure that this morning I wasn't going to have too much prep that would get me out of bed and out of the tent early when it's still cold and I'm still very sleepy. So by doing all of my work last night, I was able to put the cinnamon rolls in our cooler to chill overnight and just pull them out this morning. They're resting right now, getting a little bit of an extra rise, and then we're going to use our camp oven over our camp stove to bake them just like we would in a regular oven at home. And then I'll whip up a quick little glaze to drizzle on top, and these should be just as good as home, maybe even some delicious restaurant baked cinnamon rolls, except we'll be eating them out in the mountains. So our cinnamon rolls are in our camp oven, and while they bake, check out all the prep I did yesterday to make this early morning fresh baked cinnamon roll thing happen. Delicious cinnamon rolls have to start with a delicious yeast dough, which is really hard to say, and I know because I've recorded this like 4 times. But yeast dough is not hard to make. In fact, I find it really satisfying and a lot of fun to watch it rise, to punch it down, to roll it out. There's something really nice about seeing it all come together. Some people are intimidated by yeast doughs, but they're actually really easy, and so we're gonna whip one up here today. Okay, to get started, we have to wake up that yeast. I am using active dry yeast, but not instant yeast. So you have to give it a little bit of time to eat some sugar and bubble up and get all nice and foamy. So we're gonna start with some warmed milk, warmed to about 105 to 110 degrees. Not too hot because we don't wanna kill these little yeast guys. So we're gonna throw that into the bowl of our stand mixer. Stand mixer is definitely the way to go in this whole thing. We're gonna add about a tablespoon of sugar and whisk that up with our yeast. Quick little whisk, and then we're just gonna let it chill out and bubble up and get nice and frothy for about 5 minutes or so before we move on to the next step. While our yeast gets nice and bubbly and eats up all that sugar, I'm gonna talk you through the rest of our process. So to this mixture of milk, a little bit of sugar, and yeast, we're gonna add some more sugar, some butter, some egg, and a pinch of salt. We're gonna get that all nice and mixed up together before incorporating our flour. This is where it's nice to have a handy dandy stand mixer with a super cool dough hook attachment so that your arms don't get so sore that they wanna fall off from all of the kneading. So we're gonna let this baby do the work in bringing all that dough together until we have a really nice glutinous dough that we can make our cinnamon rolls out of. have my dough here in front of me. I like to finish it by hand because then I can really see and feel if it's a little sticky, if it needs a little bit more flour, and I can start to do the window pane test to see if it's ready. And the window pane test means you take a small amount of dough and you stretch it in front of you, and if it holds together but you can see through it, then that means that it's pretty much ready to go. The gluten has formed and it's gonna make a really nice dough. So this needs a little bit more, so I'm gonna do a little bit more by hand. It's a little sticky, I'm gonna add a little bit more flour, and we're gonna see if we can get it to come together. Whew. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I have a nice dough that's not sticking at all to the board when I need it. It bounces back when I press on it, and when I do my window pane test, I can get some nice see-through panes of dough. Sure you can't see that, but I think it looks pretty good. So we're gonna put this into an oiled bowl and set it to rise for an hour or two. You can kind of watch it when it's doubled in size. That's when you know it's ready to roll out. Mine usually takes about an hour, but we shall see. Oh, I love a good yeast dough. We're gonna punch this down and roll it out so that we can fill it with the filling I made while it was rising. The filling is just a brown sugar and cinnamon that I'm gonna sprinkle over some spread around softened butter. Then we can roll them up and cut them up and pack up and head up to the mountains. Okay, it's time to taste, and I'll tell you right now, I know these are gonna be good. They're flaky, they're still warm, and I poured a bunch more icing on top. So good. If you wanna try this yourself, you can always use pre-packaged cinnamon rolls and make it really, really easy, but I think the extra work that I did yesterday to prep was worth it because these from scratch cinnamon rolls are really, really good. So we're all cleaned up at our campsite and ready to let the cinnamon rolls fuel us on a little hike through the park before we head back down to Denver. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and check out my other content, and I hope to see you again soon.